there's 12 hills that surround the city. Okay. And when it just couldn't take any more water, so up top is Barrett Pond, and this is the sort of runoff.
So the water it just overflowed
it just couldn't
and totaled that house over there.
It just had to go somewhere.
Yeah.
And so this here is just usually a little brook, the runoff, but the water went up. The dam held, but the water went above the dam and started chewing away from the top.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to all our campuses.
And they just flooded.
And then we had to
right across the street.
Yep.
And
it just had nowhere to go.
Huh?
But everything was like that. I mean, it was raining hard. Then all of a sudden, like within 5
minutes. This is the scene of the environmental crime.
After
right
the storm, this was not here.
Yeah.
This is all
None of this was here. This was rebuilt temporarily.
But the street, everything.
We have everything open, but everything is kind of, it meets state specifications.
Yeah.
But it's not it's not permanent. We can get a year or two out of it, and then we have to rebuild it all. Just like that, nothing to it. So they went inside to get some personal belongings once the neighbor told them they need to get out, and the neighbor stopped them and said, "No, don't." And he realized what was going to happen, and just as they backed out, this whole thing let go. It flew in the front door. So, yeah.
So they stayed in the home the whole time? They didn't?
No, they know. The neighbor next door here let them know.
Oh, they did?
And said, "You better get out of here." And,
wow.
And they did. But they ran back inside. They were gonna. He stopped them. They got in the car as soon as they headed out. Then
so this neighbor here came over? Yeah.
And then this whole thing, the front stairs, everything just let go. So this is repeated all over the city. This isn't, this is one situation that,
So tell us a little bit, Mr. Mayor, Council President, tell us.
Well, anyway, yeah, go ahead.
So this is called a fortress, and we believe it belonged to a mill way back. So this house was originally thought unbuildable, but the engineers got involved and said, you know what, this house could be rebuilt on that foundation. Well, the city needed the drainage because, as you can see, the drainage was inadequate, at least for the storm that we had certainly on September 11th. So the mayor got very creative, and the mayor's people were able to come up with a legitimate appraisal that took into account the fact that the house was rebuildable.
Yeah.
And the city was able to buy the house at a reasonable value, close to fair
the
market
mayor told me.
There's 12 hills in the city, and I always hear these warnings come through about, as I was saying to the senator, I was saying, you always hear these things come through about flash flood, find shelter, and now I know what it means. It went from literally a small puddle of water. There are 12 hills in the city. When the hills couldn't take the water, it just let go. And when it went, it was like literally 5 to 10 minutes when everything went from a puddle to a huge, I don't mean a small flash flooding, I mean major flash flooding. And you can see, so the roadway here was part of this, and that all got washed out at the same time. So it's not just this house, it's everything over here, everything out back where the condos are, and this is repeated all over the city. So it wasn't just restricted to one location, it was all over the city with 30 square miles, and out of that 30 square miles, it was probably 15 square miles that were affected by the storm. So, remember the police and fire department here, emergency management, we called in mutual aid from everywhere, and we had to evacuate a lot of the neighborhoods. We have one particular neighborhood at 5 down at 6 Central Street where it's all mobile homes, mostly elderly, and all of them had to be evacuated, and by boat. And this is all simultaneously. This is all going on at the same time. So this is very common to see a small stream going under a house. It's not uncommon in the city, but obviously you can see what the force and the power of water did, and it was unstoppable. And so, yeah, it's been a learning experience, I can just tell you that. So if you see anything come through on your phone, an alert from the Weather Channel, and it says flash flooding, you take it serious. It may be nothing, it may be that little puddle in that area that floods once in a while, but we've all seen them, but it's nothing to mess around with. We're lucky we didn't lose any lives here. It was that immediate. And just as a quick story, the next door neighbor came to notify the residents of the house here that this was all happening, and they were just kind of watching TV. They went to the side door here, came out, got in their car, and remember they forgot their personal belongings, started to go back in. He told them, no, you got to go. This is way beyond that. As soon as they reached out here, got in the car, this whole section let go. And so did the front stairs where they would have had to gone into. So that's how serious it was. So thank you for coming out.
No, thank you, Laurie.
Yes, thank you, Senator. Hello, everybody. There's nothing like seeing what the power of water can really accomplish, for the worse in this case. But I'm really proud to stand here with, a full lineup of certainly Mayor Mazzarella locally and City Councilor, and our great Senator Markey, and I know Senator Warren's office is here, and then all of us.
Brandon is here. Robinson's city councilor as well.
Thank you.
And a lot of city officials as well. And
and also Director Brantley from MEMA is also here. So to all of us together, working together, it's really the best formula to get everybody back, back to where they should be, getting everybody back on their feet, making sure people are held harmless
the
as much
sign
as
right
possible.
here says it all right
Hope
here.
lives.
Nicest people you ever want to meet.
That's what it says.
They really are.
So really, this
Yeah,
is a positive, hopeful, great formula for success here. So I'm proud to be a part of it. So
While she's saying here, can I say one more thing?
Sure.
The team you sent out here for the individual assistants, we can't say enough of them. They were absolutely the team of all teams. They put a good face on government. They were so helpful. They went to people's houses multiple times. They helped them fill out forms. I tell you, we had parties for them. We were sad to see them go. We built like relationships. We knew about their families. That's so comforting for people that in a situation like this and many others, about 1,500 who lost, in terms of value, sometimes 50% of what their property was worth.
Well, much of that is, thank you. I'm
Thank
really
you.
glad to hear that. But Bob Vogel here who's the federal coordinating officer for this disaster.
Again, he's like family.
He has a great team of people who have really just,
Yeah.
descended on Leominster to really help get it back on its feet. So,
So Senator and Mr. Mayor, thank you for your support, for getting the appeal through with the state. Thank you for MEMA, Dawn Brantley and her team at the Massachusetts Emergency Management. But Mayor, you were the hero of the day.
Nah, I got a good team. They make me look good. It's like my barber. He makes me look good.
The mayor shared his town hall for our disaster recovery center. We met with over 1,000 people in that disaster recovery center.
That's amazing.
We visited over 6,000 homes in Worcester County and Bristol County to get the word out, to meet with survivors. And we proactively called. We had over 1,000 people register and get benefits, $6.4 million. 3.9 million of that in Leominster and 2.1 in Worcester County, in Bristol County. So good recovery. We also proactively called over 4,000 people to actually review each of their individual cases and added an additional $2 million by finding other things that we'd be eligible for or helping them with an appeal to get the right paperwork so we can get them approved. And that all happened in our disaster recovery center in the mayor's town hall. So can't thank you enough. They know where to go. They know the mayor and the town of Leominster is there for them, as is the state and as is the federal government. And it really was a locally executed. Can't thank the first responders, fire and rescue. They're the heroes that were there that first night with the mayor and his team, getting people rescued and keeping them safe. We come in as a federal government and support them afterwards with trying to get them back on the recovery. So great partnership locally
And your staff
with our
was
state.
great. I know you had to be in Washington trying to figure out what's going on out there. But in the meantime, your staff was constantly in touch with you and always out here, just out here physically, but also in touch with like Wendy and Michelle and our whole staff at City Hall, making sure that we were going above and beyond for the for the residents more importantly.
Absolutely. And we talk now about 100-year storms. We talk about 200-year storms. But now we're talking about 500-year storms. We're talking about storms that, before the full intensification of climate change, we just had not seen before. And it's just a preview of coming atrocities that are going to be perpetrated upon innocent families, small businesses, communities all across Massachusetts and all across the country. It's only going to get worse. And what happened here in Leominster is it's a warning. It's a warning that we have to do more to lower the risk of climate change damaging communities. But we also are going to have to provide more resources to deal with the damage that's going to be done just with the atmosphere as it's already loaded up with these tremendous amounts of greenhouse gases that are doing incredible damage to communities. So back in May, And first of all, just thank you, Laurie. Thank you to your great team. Thank you to Governor Healy and to her great team working at the state level. And so I partnered with Senator Warren and with Congressman McGovern to make sure we would put on the full court press to try to make sure, first of all, that we would get $6 million for individual assistance, for homeowners, for small businesses that had been adversely impacted by this historic storm, and then to work even further to get $6 million additionally to deal with the flood control we're going to have to put in place here in Leominster in order to mitigate the longer term risk to the community. Now, when I was a boy and we were playing the entire Major League season with dice baseball, we would have something that happened with every one of the throw of the dice, all the way up to 6 plus 6, which was a home run. So the $6 million for individual assistance for Leominster, now with $6 million more for flood control, is a 12. It's a home run for Leominster, but if more help is needed, we'll be there to help Leominster so that it can deal with this catastrophic event, but also in a lot of ways serve as a laboratory for what a community has to do and what FEMA increasingly and MEMA are going to be called upon to do inside of individual communities. And that's why, again, Senator Warren and Congressman McGovern and I, we're committed to continue to increase the funding so that we can respond. We can put the resources into the hands of the state and federal agencies and right down into the hands of the mayor and the city council and all those people who work with him here at the community level. So we thank you all so much for being here and for everything that you've gone through. And so today is a home run. You know, it's $6 million extra, you know, that can be used to just build into defenses.
We didn't have
against the next
dice,
storm.
we had just wiffle ball.
You just had wiffle
An
ball.
old beat up wiffle ball, and it had a little square, and we throw at that thing all day.
No, we had that too. But what did you do on rainy days? You had to be inside. You know, you had to be doing something on those rainy days, huh?
I'm glad you didn't roll snake eyes.
You know, yeah. It was preparation for a more sophisticated game.
I can't say enough
Yeah.
about the and we have a great relationship with hello Chief and the chiefs they have.
Thank you, Chief.
We have such a good relationships with MEMA, MassDOT, FEMA that help started like immediate, and that's the biggest thing I can stress out of this is build those those personal relationships. Make sure they're on your phone, and when you call for help, they're coming. And we have a great local emergency management, so mutual aid from other cities and towns. And a great staff that I have that never went home. They just stayed with us and just helped people fill out forms and did whatever it took to. They're still working there. I'm not sure what's that all about, but that is an important thing, is to encourage that intergovernmental relations and build that support, because honestly, we're on like first name basis with everybody, and that really helped. And we built those relationships when there wasn't some sort of disaster.
And my team came out here on the day after the flood. On day one, my team was out here, and we obviously then coordinated with Senator Warren and Congressman McGovern at the federal level, talking to Laurie to make sure that she would use all of her expertise and her team to come in and to give you the help as well. And so today is a day of celebration.
Do you want to
There's
explain
still
a little bit,
lot more work
Wendy,
to do.
what that other $6 million is for down at I assume it's from Newsnock Brook?
It is.
Yeah, just because that's a big deal. And, we got double
But aren't we
sixes.
going down there?
But, yeah.
Are we going to the second site as well? Is that where we're going to be?
Anywhere you like.
No, what I'm asking is, in terms of the explanation, are we going down there?
Are we going to go
So
to
Newsnock
Newsnock?
Brook comes all the way down. We're going to be walking along these.
Oh, we're going to walk?
Yeah.
Are we walking right now?
Nope, at the next site, we're going to start walking.
But that's where we're going to see
Yeah,
this
Newsnock
explanation.
Brook.
Okay,
We are
so I
all
think we got it
walking.
laid
It's
out.
like a really cool project.
So this is where you can see the individual assistance that the first $6 million helped to provide, and you can see where the flooding occurred. And now we're going to go to where the flood protection has to now be built up.
Right.
Okay, so there's a second site, and we will go there, and then we can have your expert staff, explain that to us, if that's all right, Mr. Mayor.
Sure, yeah,
Okay.
awesome.
Okay, beautiful. So, thank you all so much. Thanks for coming here. We're on to,
Stock Brook.
The next
okay,
one.
on to
Yep.
the next
Next site.
So the thing I will say about FEMA is once everything was approved, they hit the ground running really fast. Because when they called, they had to register. They don't
Have you guys met before?
No, we haven't, no.
Yeah, so this is your,
Right.
My team's here.
guy on the ground,
so
and
what-
Mario is back,
Oh, yeah.
as the commander in chief.
I talked to you on the phone.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Everybody's talked to Ray.
Beautiful.
But yeah, she was very helpful. But once FEMA got the okay, they came in and at least with me, they were over my house the very next morning. And actually I was approved and I had funds put in my account the same day.
Wow.
The same day, which I couldn't believe it. So that helped me out a lot. The only thing that, like I said, it didn't cover was a lot of, like inside here, a lot of my tools, because I'm a retired union carpenter. So I had literally thousands of dollars worth of tools, all types of tools that were in the shed. That was totally wiped out in the Quake Pond at all along. You're looking at some big boxes, that's not the cover. And then, just the other incidentals, 4 feet of water. 4 feet was crazy. And it wasn't only the 4 feet, but the rush of the water. You can imagine the rush, how it just took everything and just moved everything.
So we've lived here our whole life, right? So,
Yeah, I was born in Leominster.
yeah, so
Yeah.
this is our whole life, looking at the weather on Channel 5, right? What's gonna happen? And now it's almost like a weekly occurrence, right? Here it comes, it's coming your way. So what are you thinking now? When you see, these storms that are coming in from Western Mass, now they're at Worcester, what goes through your mind given what you just went through last September 11th?
Well, when will it stop?
Yeah.
I mean, this was not supposed to be like this. This storm was supposed to be moving. And for whatever reason, I mean, we've had downpours. We've all lived through downpours before, And it rained real heavy, an hour, maybe an hour or two, you get an inch of rain, 2 inches of rain. But this one here just did not stop. And in fact, I know everybody knows the circumstances, how much rain fell.
It just stopped above us. I checked my weather. I rebooted
Yeah.
my weather.
It's like that-
There's just no way.
Yeah,
And I
it's-
said,
yeah.
state of emergency, this is only an hour. It ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, it's just like a cartoon there. Where it's only raining just over the sky's head. So it just never stopped. And then after a while, I saw the street starting to flood with water. And then I started to worry. But the problem was this is a very low area in Leominster. So I was getting water from the streets coming down, from the river coming down. I was getting water from all sides.
So how many of your neighbors were equally affected?
Everyone.
How many do you think that was?
How many neighbors? Well,
Most of Adams Street, which is down there, and there's a street near the credit union. Credit union is still rebuilding inside. But all those areas, and most of the tenement houses had to be condemned because the state said if the electrical system is submerged in water, then they have to leave. So we placed everybody in every hotel from here to anywhere we could find a hotel, and we got them all.
yeah.
placed.
Both of my vehicles were totaled, and there was like, I think, 40-something vehicles
On one side.
on this side here. They were mostly all
Many
totaled.
on the next side.
So it was pretty bad. The thing is, we thought it would stop, and then it got to the point where we go, it's not going to stop. And it just happened so quickly. I think that's the thing that bothered me. It happened so quick, we couldn't react. I came out here and I had the power to my Quake Pond right there, and I have the switches inside the shed there. So I was able to throw those switches off. But when I went back into my house and I saw the water coming up through my cellar, I couldn't make it to my panel. I couldn't even make it. I had, at that time, 4.5 feet of water in my basin. I wound up with over 6 feet of water in my basin, so I didn't even want to bother going down. But it just happened so quick.
But when we were kids, we'd watch, Tech Curtis and that, we'd say, and then we'll have the weather, and then we'll have,
Don
we'll have Albert come on, with the weather, But now, the weather leads on the national anthem, it's like at least 3 times a week, and so this thing is like, in a way, you're the canary in the mine shop, you're the canary in the...
Well, we certainly got everybody's attention. I could tell that.
Oh, yeah.
Like they're sitting around, not planning on this stuff. You gotta rethink it.
And something that the senator is talking about, I think, is, years ago we used to just watch the weather, and maybe your town would get a lot of rain or, but now the weather's so extreme, and it comes repeatedly, so why run it there? Because you're not on the coast. It used to just be on the coast people worrying about it. So that's why at FEMA, we're looking, primarily at rebuilding in a resilient way. So resilience is something that we have to build into when we build back. So it's done in a way that really has an eye on future storms and the fact that weather is getting more damaging.
So Laurie, can we talk about that then, with the flood
Right.
protection? So can you talk about what that kind of construction project is like there? Yeah.
Yeah, the mitigation.
Can you talk about that?
So, maybe,
Wendy's
wanted to talk about it.
Grant, right, Wendy's like, and
Wendy.
She's been on this, she's been on this for like 7 years, this project.
What's your mitigation plan?
What's the mitigation?
This brook runs all the way around and all the way through downtown.
Okay.
So,
And what do you want, where do you want to spend the money?
so the portion we want to spend on brook stabilization in the downtown area.
Oh, are we going there?
We can't.
Oh, no, that's okay.
Come on!
Well, that's, come on!
Yeah, it's really, we should,
All right, let's go.
this football.
Gotta fall in.
And it's gonna replace all of this going all the way under the parking lot.
For how long? For how long?
For how long?
Yeah, what's the distance of the total
Oh.
mitigation? That's
Well, from
Is it hundreds of feet?
That's almost
Is
1,000
it
feet, I believe.
hundreds
From
of yards?
this road over here.
Okay.
From this road all the way to that road.
Right.
So it's from whatever
So it's
that-
1,000 feet.
Yeah.
But they have to build everything. Everything has to be rebuilt. So
Crazy, yeah.
this will be rebuilt. And this is major because this is obviously in the downtown.
Yeah.
This is where most of the water, when it does get here, has a room to kind of expand.
Where's Isabel? Is Isabel here? Isabel here? Huh? Okay, well, yeah, yeah. So let's take the,
But you can see that how high these walls are. I mean, this is very expensive. I mean, they have to be built correctly too. And all this will be rebuilt.
yeah, it
It'll
will all
be
be
beautiful.
rebuilt,
Oh,
yeah.
it's going to be beautiful out here when they're done. So they also added a kind of a little bit of a landscape plan to it, so it makes it look nice too. And it is but see that block over there? That block over there is up past that road up there. That's where that came from. When I was standing on the other side where you park and get on the bus today, when I was standing there, all of a sudden something went by me. There's a dumpster. And then they have a 40-foot container. It was starting to come out into here, but a tree held it back. That was the only thing.
Thank you,
We swing sets were flying down here. We found stuff down the mall belonging to people. But it took everything along this brook it took. And a mile from here is our emergency management center. We have fish inside the building. And it doesn't come from the koi pond.
I was going to say, were they cool? Yeah.
Could have been a few arrays.
So thank you for your help. This is like a big deal
This is
for
gonna
us.
be great. This is gonna be.
Wendy's been working,
This will
everybody,
be- This will
DPW.
protect downtown from a 1,000-year flood.
That's that fence right there, that's where the water is.
Wow.